Could machines ever be conscious? This question matters because humans are really good at justifying slavery and coming up with reasons of why it's actually okay to enslave things or people that don't look like themselves. We forget that a world without slavery was unimaginable for almost everyone most of human history. Some people who were otherwise very smart came up with explanations of why slavery was a good thing. In fact, Aristotle said, "It is clear then that some men are by nature free and others slaves, and that for these latter slavery is both expedient and right." But remember, slavery doesn't only happen against humans, it also happens against animals. Aristotle also said plants exist for the sake of animals, and brute beasts for the sake of man. The inference must be that nature has made all animals for the sake of man. Slavery tends to cause a lot of suffering. However, I believe it is better for humans to bring a conscious being into the world as long as we take care of them. But why would we take care of them? Because we should minimize suffering. This is a statement of how the world should be, so it's an opinion. But suffering can only occur if something is conscious. So if machines can't be conscious, then us enslaving their asses would be genuinely morally better than the enslavement of humans or animals. But if machines can be conscious, it opens up the door for way more suffering since they can be duplicated for very cheap, and that means there could be tons of conscious machines suffering a lot. That would not be good. To find out if machines can be conscious, let's define consciousness. It is not learning, it is not solving problems, it is not demonstrating goal oriented behavior or understanding knowledge. For this conversation, it is having subjective experience. What arrangements of matter cause subjective experience? Well, there's some types we do know, and that is the human brain when it's awake and human brains while dreaming. You can prove this for yourself. Do you have subjective experience when these happen? Yes, you do. Now, we also know that human brains in deep sleep are not conscious. We know this for sure. But as for everything else, we don't know for sure. It's interesting because humans and animals have sensors to perceive information like sight, sound, touch, taste, or smell. Our sensors are our eyes, ears, touch receptors, taste buds, and nose. They also have an onboard computer, a brain, which takes in all that information from their sensors to solve problems. However, other things here have sensors and computers too. For example, Microsoft Excel, its sensors are inputs from the user and the internet, and its computer is the literal computer you're using. The sensors of Walmart are you subscribing, its many different employees and checkout scanners, and its computer is its leadership team who takes in all that information to make decisions. Now, some of these, like water, rocks, and stars, don't have any sensors or computers we know of. Therefore, we can say they are not able to solve complex problems. But that doesn't mean that they aren't conscious. So until we have a more comprehensive explanation for consciousness, we are stuck with these. But we can make, I've been saying a but a lot in this video, but we can make some powerful conclusions from this information alone. Let's jump to a seemingly wink wink unrelated problem in philosophy. Imagine you have a ship, and over many years of use, it wears down. So you replace the component that has worn down. And after many years of damage and replacement, every single component has been replaced. So the ship you see doesn't have any of the same components or even atoms as the original. The question is it still the same ship? My friend said no, because it doesn't have any of the same matter. Now, that's interesting because about every 5 to 10 years, every single atom in your brain is replaced. Yet somehow you're still the same consciousness. That's weird. Therefore, consciousness is maintained when its hardware is gradually replaced, as long as the replacement is functionally identical, meaning the replacement has to do the same thing as whatever it was replacing. So consciousness is all about patterns being continuous, not the matter being continuous. But could an artificial neuron actually behave the same as one of our brain cells? Yes, every part of biology can be simulated. And this raises the question, what if a human brain becomes like the ship of Theseus? Replace one neuron at a time with an artificial neuron that does the same thing as the original. Would it be the same consciousness? Yes, because every atom in the brain already gets replaced with different matter that does the same thing, yet we remain the same consciousness. Therefore, consciousness can be housed in the synthetic medium. Therefore, machines can be conscious. All right, case closed. Whoa, wait a second. Did you notice the error that I made in this reasoning? Did you? Here's the error. The body already replaces one atom at a time, well, more than one atom at a time, but you know what I mean, and consciousness remains. However, this does not imply if we replaced one full brain cell at a time, the consciousness would remain. My intuition said it would be the same consciousness, but as I explained, I could be wrong. And one last thing, make sure to tickle that subscribe button.